What's up, guys, and welcome to the show. My name is Sh200, and today we have Cris Njoki, who is the founder and creative director of Ikojn Live. Welcome to the show, Mama.
Thank you, Boyo. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Karibu.
Asante. I'm glad to be here.
And good stuff you're doing.
Thank you so much. You came for our lunch on Saturday.
Yes.
Thank you.
I really
for being
enjoyed
there.
it, actually.
Yeah.
The intimate setting. And then it was more of a shopping vibe. At the same time, you're introducing guys.
Yeah.
So I really loved that.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Karibu sana.
Okay.
So I know most of the guys have been introduced to you as a content creator, but I like to go back and know Njoki before the Cris Njoki of social media. So just take me through your childhood, where you're born, how many siblings you have, schools you went to, up to college.
Okay. Wow, that's really back. Let's see. I was born in the city of Mombasa. And I remember we moved to Nairobi when I was about maybe 5, 6, 7, thereabout. I don't really remember too much of my childhood, but I know that my love for clothes and fashion began when I was about 11, 12. You know, that's when I found a suitcase full of my mom's old clothes in the garage. And I used to pick out different pieces. I loved like the bold colors because, you know, it was very vintage. They used to wear a lot of greens and purples and all these bright colors. So I got so drawn.
Puffed
shoulders, power shoulders with like silky fabrics, satins. So I was so drawn to that kind of like dressing. And I'd find myself like picking 1, 2 items and then altering them to fit me, making the skirts shorter or making the sleeves more modern to just try and fit me. And then I'd wear this to church like for Sunday. That was like my Sunday best. And I used to do everything by hand because then at that time I used to have home science class. So they taught us how to sew by hand and everything. But that was basically a lot of my childhood was a lot of me just like fixing and revamping mom's stuff. And like, you know, if the neckline is too high, I like cut with scissors. You know, it's just like very like arts and craftsy. But yeah, I'm the first of 3 kids. So I have a younger sister after me and then a younger brother. Schools you went to? Schools I went to, wow, do I even remember? I don't even remember the school I went to in Mombasa, but I know for primary school, I was in Nairobi Primary School. And then high school, I was at Pangani Girls for the first 2 years. And then I moved to Green Garden High School for the last 2 years. And then uni, I think I was like every other creative child. Like after high school, I was like, I don't know what to do. I was so confused. I was really good at math and sciences. So my parents thought I would go into that.
That is the right direction for you.
Yeah, they thought I would go into that. But then I was like, no, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's my thing. It feels like I'd get really bored. So my parents advised me, okay, if you're not sure what you want to do, have some maybe training in business, and then as you figure out, because you're gonna need business anywhere you are in life. So then I enrolled into a business college, not a big one, just one of the small ones in USD. And I was in business college for about 7-8 months till I decided, this is still not for me. And at that point now, my dad and I were aggressively looking for, because it was like, I still didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't even think fashion was an option. And he was like, why don't you go to tailoring, even if it's just to train? And at that time there was no fashion schools. You know, it was like tailoring. So then I looked around, and I found this Kenya Polytechnic. They have a tailoring course. So I went back, I told him, and we were like, okay, I think you should go there. And then just before I went to Kenya Poly, my dad found out about fashion school. I'm forgetting the name. It's like literally the oldest fashion school in Kenya.
I think there was Mackenzie on Gong Road.
Yeah. No,
but older. Also there's another older one.
Yes.
which an actor actually came here and told me she went to that fashion
that's
school.
the one I went.
It's a British name.
Was it British? I'm not sure what the name is, but I know it's definitely the oldest one.
Yeah.
And even because it's my dad who knew about it, I didn't know about it. So then he told me, there's this school I've known for a long, long time. Why don't you go and try? And I went there. Definitely better than the Polytechnic. So it was just like a notch higher than tailoring.
Yeah.
At least you're able to learn.
Because I think the Polytechnic one was going to be just basic. Fundi.
Exactly.
But the other one is a bit
At least they
detailed.
teach you business of fashion, the history of fashion, things like that, and art as well. So I went there, and then literally at that time I was good. I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. I'm enjoying. I see people like me. Everyone is like me. But then literally one semester down the line, now Markensall opened up. So literally they opened brand new school, and I remember at that time one of my friends, her family friend owned the school, so she told us about it, and she was like, do you want to go check it out? And I remember I went to check it out on a Friday. And I went back home and I told my dad, no, I found my school. Like, that's my place. Everything was like bright and shiny, like brand new machines. You know, very like, you could tell for them they took fashion seriously.
Yeah.
I went to see it on Friday, and by Monday I was there. And from there I never moved, and I just stayed there until I finished
Wow.
school. Yeah.
Wow, that's so dope.
Yeah.
Now, what pushed you to content creation?
So, fun fact, not many people know this actually, but the brand presence, the fashion brand presence, like Ikojn's brand presence online, started way before Cris Njoki did. Yes.
Okay.
Because Ikojn has been around for 7 years, since 2015. And I was the one handling, at that time, all of our social media, all of our anything online, okay? E-commerce, all of that was me. And I did that for a couple of years. And I think in about 2018, 2019 is when I was like, okay, I'm doing all these things for the brand.
Yeah.
I feel like we can also do something with my personal brand. And at that time, I didn't really know what I wanted to like put out there. But I knew I had a platform. Number one, trying to grow this business from scratch. I was learning a lot of things along the way.
Okay.
That I felt, okay, maybe there's other people who might want to know. And they might want, they might be curious, So I thought maybe it could be a platform where I just share my experience, just not knowing who it might help. Maybe it'll help somebody. And so the Cris started sort of as a second of Ikojn. But then very quickly outgrew, sort of like, bypassed Ikojn. Yeah. But then what that helped with is now I was able to switch in between the two. So if Ikojn needed Cris, then Cris was there to like boost Ikojn. And if Cris needed Ikojn was there to like boost Cris. So.
That's a beautiful symbiotic relationship.
It was so nice, and it's still really good even now. Yeah.
What would you say is your niche in content creation?
I'd say in content creation, I'm very much into empowerment and entrepreneurship, but like in a fun way. I feel like having started my business when I was younger, a lot of the content I was seeing on entrepreneurship and just being a boss was very lackluster. It was very like black, navy blue, gray. And
very
it's like,
serious.
It's like, well, come on, we're not bankers. Like, we can actually be entrepreneurs and make it fun. And I try to really show my journey in my content and not just business, because people forget sometimes. People try and like box people in. Just because I'm an entrepreneur doesn't mean I can't go out and like travel.
Like you don't have the fun side.
Yeah, and I can't travel and I can't hang out with my friends. So I think for me, why it's interesting is because a lot of people knew Cris before they knew Ikojn, even if Ikojn came before Cris, right? So a lot of people saw my fun side and then later found out about Ikojn, and they're like, wait, what?
So you're this serious again?
Yeah, and so it's very interesting. And even a lot of the questions I get on the platforms is like, okay, how did you start? How do you do it? Like, it always just, you make it seem easy. And it's like, no, it's just because I refuse to be boxed in. Like, okay, if you're fun, you can't have something serious. Or if you have something serious, you can't be outgoing. And, so for me, it's like, I like being able to show both worlds and show that they can exist together. Yeah.
And also there's that box of where if you're doing this particular thing, you should not be doing other stuff.
Exactly.
But why not?
Why not? I can do whatever makes someone happy, I think. Honestly, just pursue it and just enjoy it. Yeah.
On your Instagram account, I saw you call yourself a millennial coach.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So that actually started like very lightly. It was just because I think as more people came to find out what I do and about the brand and what my goals are in growing the brand, I get a lot of questions, So in my DM, emails, messages, WhatsApp, I get so many questions from young people or even just people my age who want to find out, okay, so how did you start? What do you do? How do you just simple things? How do you stay motivated every day? And for a long time, right now maybe I don't do it so much, but for a long time I used to, every single morning, I'd just wake up and on my stories tell guys, hi, good morning, go out there, be great, wow. And I think that really, people wanted to know, okay, where does this come from? How do you make sure you keep, going strong every single day, keeping your energy up? How do you do it? So I started talking to some people now, responding, because then there are so many of them. And I was like, okay, so as I keep responding, some people I actually started mentoring for a longer time.
Wow.
And, it was just a handful. At that time, I think it was like 2 or 3 people, 2 women and 1 guy. And it became almost like a weekly checkup thing where we're constantly, having meetings. They tell me what they're going through and they're asking for advice. I give them advice, but not just give them advice. It's like hold them accountable and make sure that they follow through.
They practice what you're teaching them.
Yeah. And it's something that I actually thought about taking up seriously, and I still want to, just that now I don't have the time, but I still talk to people and like give advice. And it's such a big chunk of my engagements on the platforms where it's me just like advising people. So that's where it came from. I was like, I feel like I'm coaching us millennials because I'm also a millennial, you know? And I know how it can be. I know how it was. I was lucky maybe because I started when I was younger. And when I was younger, at that time, you want to take more risks. You're like, what, let me just try whatever. But if it was now, starting my brand right now, I know I would be so apprehensive and I'd be fearful. Yeah. And I would want someone like me I can talk to who can tell me, what, just do it. Just do it, So that's why I'm the millennial coach.
The guys you're coaching, what was the age group?
So a lot of them were, actually the 3 of them were in between, because the youngest was, I think, 25. And then the oldest one was 31.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typical millennial.
It's literally my age group. I'm 33, so I know I'm an older millennial, but still.
I'm 35.
Yeah.
And I'm still a millennial.
Yeah. So I remember at that time when I was doing it, I was 31. So one was actually my age, and then the youngest was 25.
Wow. Yeah. Will you want to move it into a lifestyle coaching kind of situation and even have that as a third brand now? Yes.
And, and that's why I coined the phrase millennial coach, because it's something I actually want to explore. I don't know when. But I know I definitely want to explore it. It's just, I've just put it out there. Let's see what sort of transpires. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely want to, because for me, any way I can help others through the experience I've been through, for me, that's like gold, Yeah. So it's definitely something I would want to explore. And then hopefully if I can get someone to just even tell me how to do it, because I have no clue, honestly. For me, I just share. Yeah. But yeah, I would want to see where that goes.
Okay. Let's talk fashion.
Okay.
Now, I read, I think it was an interview with The Standard, where you said you started thrifting. What was that period of thrifting like?
Honestly, I miss that period so much because there's nothing like the joy of finding unique pieces in a pile of just trash, like, because thrifting, guys, is a lot of like just hide and seek.
So it's just going to
proper. Yes, I used to go. Yes, so
and picking
in
good
fact,
stuff.
yeah. In fact, how it started, I remember I was still in fashion school, so I was in Arkansas at the time, and my dad is really strict with money, so he was like, I'm not giving you extra cash. Like a lot of, at that age when you're in uni, sometimes you'd have friends who have a lot of extra cash from their parents. So they're able to go out and like buy stuff. My parents are like, no, we're only giving you enough for transport. The rest, you just sort yourself out. Also, you're over 18. Also, why are you in our house? It's like...
They're trying to push
also,
you
the
out.
time was ticking. So we're just giving you transport. The rest, you'll figure it out. You're an adult. So... I remember at that time, I used to live quite far from school. So my transport would come to about maybe 2,000 a week. And I used to get an allowance of 8,000 a month. That's it. Like 2,000 per week, that's for your transport. And
so
everything...
It's specific to the tea. There's not even extra coin unless you don't go to school.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, what about lunch? Oh, carry food from home. Anything. So now think of like buying maybe feminine products or like clothes. I mean, I'm in fashion school. Of course, I want clothes,
and also that age. You want to be seen.
You want to look cute and trendy and things. So I didn't have any extra cash for anything. And my dad was like, you figure it out. And actually, I figured it out. So I remember at that time, the places we used to go shop a lot was Toy Market on Gong Road. And it's still there. Guys still go shop there.
And now it's more pricey.
It's more pricey.
It's not the toy that we used to.
So now we used to go to Toy Market. And I'm there with my friends. We go shopping. And even Toy Market was too expensive for me. I'm like, Like that's how little money I had. Because then I'm going to a market. They're selling us pants for 200. I'm like, no. This is too pricey. I literally have 200 for my entire shopping. How are you selling me one item? So I used to now drill those guys. And later I was able to find out from them now where they get those things from. And then now they told me about Gikomba. And I remember when I was told about Gikosh, I was made to believe it's so scary. I was told, when you go to Gikosh, you have to make sure you're not showing any skin.
No jewelry, no pass.
I wish you saw me. The first day I went to Gikosh. I had on like 3 oversized t-shirts inside and then 2 deras on top. And then a hoodie, and then another dera on top of the hoodie.
You took extra caution.
And then I wore those long socks that passed the knee. And then I wore gumboots. Like, just trying to unsexify myself in any way, shape, or form. Like, I was literally looking like, I don't even know. So I went.
Like a street child or something.
So I got there. And then I walked around for like 30 minutes. And I remember I was so like panicky. I was walking so fast because I didn't want to be a target. I'd put my phone, I don't know where. Like, it was a mess. Then I was there for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm like, this is not bad. Like, these guys are just regular people. So, of course, I started undressing. I was just left now with my t-shirt and shorts. And no one even cared. Like, guys are just out doing their own business.
Yeah.
But I remember that was my first time in Gikosh. And I went initially to shop for myself. So that's how I would find tops for 20 bob, dresses for 50. And I was like, that's now what I'm talking about. And after shopping for myself for like 2-3 months, I started realizing like I would find a lot of good things, but not everything was my taste. Sometimes not everything was my size, but there were still really unique pieces.
Yeah.
So then that now inspired me. I was like, wait, what if I can maybe take this stuff and try and sell it to guys? Because it's
now
good.
In school.
Not even in school.
Oh, just anywhere.
On Facebook. So for me, that's where my love of e-commerce started.
Okay.
Because for me, I was like, because I appreciate like good. And I think it's sort of like a talent I had ever since now dating from the time when I could find stuff in drawers and closets and things. I'm able to really pinpoint like good items, even in a pile of a lot of crap, right? So then I would go and I remember the first time I decided to make a business. I went with 200 shillings and I was like, instead of shopping for myself, let me buy 4 dresses. And I remember I bought 4 dresses, each was 50 bob. And I went back home. I borrowed my mom's camera. wore the dresses. Some were not my size, so I had to pin them and stuff to make them
You're
look
basically
good.
the mannequin.
Everything. Wore them, took pictures with her camera, uploaded them on Facebook on my phone, and sold each for 800 bob. I literally sold them in a day.
Oh, wow.
Each for 800 shillings. I was like,
oh, wow.
What?
There
You
goes.
mean? And now we had a business. Literally, I took that money, the 800 per dress. That was that's 200.
Yeah.
Went, bought more dresses. And I just did that for a year and a half. And now my goal now became, okay, fine. Let me do this as I save up for my actual brand.
Yeah.
And I did that for a year and a half, saved up what I needed, and bam, Ikojn came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when you decided you're going to launch Ikojn, how long did that take for you? And how much did you start with?
So I like saying that I started with 200 just because I know it wasn't the actual business, but my journey in fashion business started with 200 shillings.
Yeah.
Because that's the 200 shillings I took to
From
Ikojn.
thrifting.
Yeah, and then I was able to save up. If I didn't have that thrifting, I wouldn't have Ikojn. I'm telling you facts, right?
Yeah.
Especially because I was starting a ready-to-wear brand. At the time, all local brands in Kenya were doing custom-made. All local designers.
Most actually.
Were all doing custom-made, made-to-measure. And for me, I knew that's not what I wanted. I wanted ready-to-wear. I wanted to offer women a chance to shop local off the rack, right? And I knew I needed a big chunk of money to start that. So, yeah, the thrifting really, really helped me save money to get there. In terms of how long, I think once I saved up enough money, I just went for it. Like,
just went for it.
I didn't have a big launch. I didn't do anything fancy. And at the time, as I told you, I was really keen on e-commerce.
So it was more online than a
was
physical
online.
store.
It was all online. In fact, for the longest time, I always wanted the brand to be e-commerce only.
Oh, wow.
It's just our customers, as the brand grew, our customers expressed the need of a physical location. They wanted to interact with the brand more, interact with the clothing, be able to try on stuff before buying. But we find now once the customers are able to come to the store once, immediately they now shop online. They're able to now go and shop on the website.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Now, the way I saw you wrote the name for your brand, I used to spell it.
Tell us, what did you say?
Ikojn.
Aye, you and so many other people.
Then one of my pals told me, no, boy, it is Ikojn.
It's Ikojn, yeah.
So what inspired that name and how you spell it?
Okay, so actually the name Ikojn is my name Njoki backwards.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So if you look at it, it's actually Njoki spelled backwards, and the J is silent. You know? And honestly, I don't even know, because I remember finding the name for the brand was such a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I think I spent almost a year just finding the name. You know, because of course when I was in fashion school, I knew, when I was thrifting the entire time, I knew I wanted my brand, but I could not find a name. So I kept everything. I would write down words, turn them upside down, do what, trying to find a name. And I remember even when I found the name Ikojn, I shared it at the time with one of the people who I sort of was like taking me or mentoring me through like my journey. And I remember I showed them the name and they were like, no, that's not a good name. Don't take it. Don't use that. And this is someone whose opinion I like meant so much to me. And I was just like, you know what? No, I'm just going to do it. And she's like, no, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do it.
It's good you went with your gut.
And I just went with my gut and I was like, I'm keeping the name. It's fine. And now I'm just like, oh, I would have been so sad if I went to the name. Like, I love the name Ikojn. Yeah. And I love that it's able to represent me without outwardly, because even you didn't know it was backwards of Njoki.
I didn't know.
You know, no one really knows until sort of maybe I tell them or they look really, really hard. But I like that it's able to, there's still a part of me in it without being like, just copy paste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say is your brand aesthetic?
So I think the brand is very much like classy with a twist, right? So it's like very ladylike, feminine, because a lot of the inspiration from that Ikojn derives is from women, and not just women, but like strong feminine women.
Yeah.
So we want our designs to feel empowering, but then still maintain the softness of a woman, you know. Okay. We like being able to offer classic styles, very ladylike styles, but then with a small twist that shows that I still want to take risks. I still want to like stand out without yelling. You know, I don't want to be like the one with the shortest dress or the showing all the skin. But when I walk in, you're gonna know. Yeah,
subtle, classy, but still memorable.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Definitely.
Do you design all the pieces yourself, or do you have an in-house designer?
So currently, that's actually the one role in the brand that I have not yet been able to fill, and it's just so close to me. You know, I feel like there's this thing that happens when you start a brand, and to be honest, for me, being that I went to fashion school, I believe that deep down in my core, I'm an artist first, right? So now when you're an artist, you know, when you're starting out, you're doing everything yourself.
Yes.
Everything. I mean, I remember the first 2-3 years of the business, I was by myself 90% of the time. And it was tough. Like, even the people who came on were just like maybe 1 or 2 seamstresses.
Oh, wow.
But everything else was me. And so over time now, I've had to sort of allocate some of these tasks to other people. But the design one is the one I still keep. Design and fabric sourcing. That for me, I'm like, because I feel like that's
like the soul of the business.
It is. It really is. And for me, I'm so picky when it comes to that. I'm just like, I don't know if I'll find somebody who can see, because you see, for me, I truly believe that even my thrifting days trained me for this, because I'm able to instantly spot if a fabric or a print or a design is going to be a hit or not. Like, because of that, and I've practiced it for ages. I mean, it's been 10 years now. Yeah. I've been doing it constantly. So for me, I need to find somebody who has that skill. If they don't have that skill, then I can't give that role to anyone, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, I am still the one who designs everything. We do have a team that assists with the design, but at the end of the day, it's I'm the one who makes the decision.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have 2 friend designers who are fashion designers, and the main issue they have in the industry is the copy paste. So you make this lovely piece.
Yeah.
By the way, she dressed me.
Yeah. I'm glad you love it.
I really love it.
Yeah.
So you make this lovely piece. They gate it, or rather come buy it, and then they go and copy paste it in just a different style. They can either use a different material or different fabric, but it is your style.
Yeah.
So a lot of them complain about that. Have you faced that?
Yes, I have faced that, and like I feel like we have even faced it even much more, because we've had instances where people actually they buy the piece, and then they send our pieces to China, and then they're now replicated in thousands, in like huge, and then they just come to like Isli, and you're finding the exact same dress. Quality is different, the fabric is not the same, but the design is the same. And then they go even a step further, and they take our images and use our images to sell the product. So we've been through that.
Oh no.
We've been there multiple times. Like I stopped checking and counting, because at that point I'm just like, they're gonna do what they need to do. But for me, when it comes to people sort of stealing designs, I don't put much thought into it, mainly because I know wherever this design came from in my creative vault, there's so many more. And by the time someone is going through all these steps to copy you, guess what? You're on the next step. You're on the next step.
You're ahead.
So you'll always stay ahead, and they'll always be behind, because they'll always be copying you. And I think even our community, our Ikojn community, they support us so much. Like, they're always sending us DMs like, look, so-and-so is using your images, so-and-so are selling your products. Oh my God, I bought from them. It's not even the same as you guys. And we get that a lot. And we are so appreciative about, our community and the support they show us. But I think what they also now can see very clearly is people are not stupid, by the way.
No.
Like, they see, even if someone goes and they pick a piece from you and they replicate it, people can see. And there's nothing that is worse for a brand than losing credibility with your customers. So for us, we take it so seriously, just like making sure that our designs are unique and like, very, very unique to the brand, and we're not trying to replicate anybody's anything. But for everybody else who is, I mean, if that's your job, I guess. I don't want to hate. Like, for me, it's like everyone, we have to have someone in every sector. And if your sector is done for copying and replicating, it's all good. It's all love.
You've just talked about design inspiration.
Yeah.
How you come up with different styles.
Yeah.
Where do you get that?
The inspiration?
Yes.
I think I'm just inspired by everything. But I think first and foremost, the one thing that inspires me the most is women, right? So for me, I'm inspired by women. Even by myself as a woman, I'm just inspired by how we're able to, face challenges and be everything that is needed, be all of these strong qualities that are needed to survive in this world, but then still maintain that femininity. That for me is so inspiring. But I would say with the way I design, I get inspired by fabric first before the other way around. So there's designers who sort of look around for inspiration and then go put that inspiration on paper. For me, it's the other way around. I like being around great fabrics. Like if you put me in a full warehouse just with fabrics, that's when my juices start like flowing. I'm just like, oh my God, that feels so nice. Oh my God. I just like rub it on me. I look like a mad woman actually when I'm doing it. But I'm mostly inspired by women and I'm inspired by fabrics. Yeah, that's what I would say.
You are currently designing for women. Will there be a men's line?
Yes.
Like Ikojn Men?
Yes. Iconic Men coming soon. Yes. We've definitely been flirting around the idea of having a men's line. And a lot of the men, who are part of our supporters and part of our community have really been pushing for that. And I think it would be, it wouldn't be wise to sort of single them out. So I think definitely we'll have a menswear line. I don't know when, but it's going to come eventually. One day it'll come.
Because I think men are loyal and they have the purchasing power.
Yeah, they do.
So once they like you.
That's the thing with the men. That's the thing with the men. Men are so loyal that getting them from where they are is the hardest thing. But once you bring them to your side,
they'll stick.
Yes, they'll stay there. But that obtaining is tough. It's not like women. Women are just like, we're like butterflies. If it's bright and shiny, we're like, I want it. With guys, they're like, you have to get that. Once they make that step and they come to you, then you're good. So, soon, hopefully.
What are some of the mistakes that you have made since starting the business, and what have you learned from them?
So I'd say for me, like one of the main mistakes I made was thinking that we could produce outside of the country. Right? So because I knew I wanted a ready-to-wear brand, at that time there was nothing like it in Kenya, or maybe they were there and I didn't know. But as I said, at that time, all I could see was ready, made-to-measure, custom-made designers, and I didn't know where to start if I wanted to make pieces in bulk, and not even bulk. I just wanted like 20, 30, 40 pieces, nothing crazy, but I didn't know where to go. So I remember at that time, with the money I'd saved from my thrifting, I went to China and I went there to look for factories that could produce for us. And it was shocking. I mean, they were talking about minimums of 10,000 units, and at that time it was crazy. So I eventually got a really, really small manufacturer who was able to do, the units were still crazy. They were making, I think, 1,500 units per design. And that was still insane, especially knowing that I'd gone there. No one knows about Ikojn. Like, I haven't even registered the business.
Half of the money you've just used in traveling?
Yes.
Wow.
So nothing. No one knows anything about the brand. So I did all that, paid the deposit, and literally came back to Kenya with nothing. So I knew that the stuff that's coming is what's now going to bear fruit, right? So then they promised me a month delivery. Okay, so for them to do the finishing, to finish up the garments, and then they'll send it over in a month. So within that month is when I really like opened up accounts, made sure to register the business, opened our social media, all of that stuff. And I remember when the stuff came back, it was on a Saturday. I was so excited. It was Saturday morning and there were huge boxes because I think in total it was coming to about 8,000 pieces. Wow. I mean, that's literally, oh my gosh, like I spent all
everything
my money
is in that box.
Like that 1.5 years of hustling was in that box. So then the stuff comes. I'm really, really excited. And I remember opening up one box and taking out one of the items. And it was nothing like what we discussed. The fabric was crap. It was such bad quality. Like, honestly, I couldn't sell that piece. Like, that could not be the first item that the brand, that represents the brand. You know, the stitching was horrible. The zip was poor quality. It was getting stuck. Like, everything was bad.
So it's like when you came from China, when you came back, they decided we're going to go low grade on everything.
Everything. Wow. The fabric honestly felt like polythene paper. It was horrible. So I remember that time, I mean, if there was a day I've thought of, like, I was seriously going to quit. For me at that time, I was like, okay, maybe it's not for me. Maybe let me just go back to Gikosh. Maybe this thing is just not going to work out. And thinking of all the money I'd put in, and I mean, I was devastated. And I remember I cried the entire weekend. And on Monday, my mom told me, you know, you can cry. We'll give you time. Just keep crying. It's fine.
You need to mourn sometimes.
If you need a whole week for crying, that's fine. But what you're going to not do is quit, you know? And so at that time, I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. It sucks, but we need to do something. And I remember at that time, I'd also come from my trip in China. I'd come with just samples of fabrics that had really interested me when I was there. And they were just in my suitcase, nothing crazy, like 5 meters of this, 10 meters of this, like that. And so I just sat down and I started a whole new collection from scratch, made it myself, shot the lookbook myself with my sister's friend who was my model. And sent that out to everyone in the industry at the time. And I was just blindly sending. I was like, you know what, whoever hooks on it, sawa. And I remember one person hooked and they loved one of the tops. And they were like, oh, I really like it so much. Maybe give it to me. And we can see, because at that time she was pushing African fashion. Yeah. So I sent it to her and she really loved it. And she was like, actually, I have some people who are interested in buying this top. Can you get me 5 pieces? So I sent her 5 pieces. They were sold in like 24 hours. She's like, okay, let's make it 20. And literally, that's how now Ikojn grew. From those 5 tops, which became 20, which became dresses, trousers, and then slowly we're here.
Just to be curious, what happened to the shipment that was brought?
Imagine I had to give them away. I just had to give them away. Over time, slowly, we started working. So I kept them. I still kept them for a long time because I wanted to keep them as a reminder of why I need to grow made in Kenya and local fashion. Because I was like, that lack of control, I mean, and there's no way I'm the only one who, maybe I was too trusting, I don't know. But I just wanted to always keep reminding myself and reminding anyone who like was looking to explore this side that just try and keep it in, like try and whatever you can manage and whatever you can keep under your control, just do it. So over time, as the brand grew, we used to work with some, what do you call it? Like some, maybe children homes or elderly homes and things. So a lot of times we would give away some of the products. And honestly, the products are not terrible. It's just that
it's not up to standard to your taste.
They were not up to the brand's standard. But I know a lot of people benefited from those items and they loved them. And I remember we did a lot of it was nice because then we'd give away and we'd have fashion shows at the children's homes. It was really, really fun.
Which is good, a goodwill.
We were able to give back. Yes, it hurt us, it hurt me. But I think in the long run, it actually really helped others. So, I'm happy about that.
At least you're genuine enough to recognize that was not a selling quality.
Oh yeah, no, there's
product.
No way. Yeah, there's no way.
Because some Kenyans will like, no, my money is not going. I'm gonna recover it anyway.
Because the thing is, this is the first item that was going to be for the brand.
Yeah.
I don't want the brand to be known for that, you know? Because then if you're putting out that first item, guess what? You're already lowering everybody's expectation. Everyone already knows what kind of items to expect from you, and that's not the starting point I wanted for the brand. So I just had to take the L and keep it moving.
I don't think it's an L. I think it's just a redirection of your path.
Yeah, but it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
A lot of businesses are now closing, especially during the COVID pandemic, and even now, just life is tough for guys. But you have opened the second branch.
Yeah.
And maybe a third branch ahead.
Maybe.
It's going to be somewhere on Gong Road.
Yeah.
What's the secret to your success?
Honestly, I think for me, it's being able to focus on what I know I love doing. And for me, it's being able to offer women something that they will not find anywhere else. And not just in product, but even in the brand itself, in the service, in how, what feeling do you get when you wear an Ikojn piece? For me, I'm so much into the storytelling of the brand where it stops just being a monetary issue. Like, it's not just you give me money and we give you clothes. It's like, we want to build a community that feels safe and strong and feminine, and they can dress up nice without having to, worry about things peeking out or like, oh, my boobs, nini. We just want to be able to like build such a strong community that is surrounded by iconic women, and that for me is much bigger than, selling tops or dresses. I mean, that's nice, but I feel the community is much bigger for me. Yeah. The other thing I would say is the team. Like, honestly, sometimes I look back and I look at the team we have grown till now, and it's mind blowing. For me, it's like I feel the team really, really, truly makes a difference. If the team does not believe in the goal, if the team does not actually understand or has the same drive as myself, then we wouldn't be here. And I can really say that every single person in the team right now, they see the vision of the brand and they're working. All of us are working hard, literally, to achieve it. As I was telling you, we have a meeting every Monday with the HODs. And, it's silly because I'd say my entire team, they're all millennials or even younger. I have some Gen Zs. Like, I think we only have like one or two older people in the team, but everyone else is young, and you can see the drive and you can really see how hard they fight and work for the brand. And I think it's honestly been a game changer for us. So I think a big part of the success is the team as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What aspects of fashion do you want to change?
Generally?
Just in Kenya.
What aspects of fashion? I think what I really don't like, and I don't know if it's an aspect in fashion, but I don't like the idea of a fashion police. Having people who sit and judge what other people are wearing and say, oh, no, that doesn't look good. How could you wear that for that? How could you? That for me does not fly. Just because this is someone's expression of who they are. Okay. If someone wants to go out and dress in a garbage bag, that's an expression of who they are. And someone sitting up on a pedestal and looking down at this person, it's like saying their style is the one. It's like their style is the perfect thing. And no one has given you that authority. So for me, I think anyone who sort of tries to look down on how others dress, that I would change. Because everyone has a right to express themselves however they feel. And I think fashion is a way of expression. Yeah. And people should be allowed that freedom. Yeah.
What would you say is the future of Ikojn?
Future of Ikojn. So I need the brand to spread its wings right now, right? And we love that we are able to expand in Kenya. and we love that we're able to reach our consumer where they are. But what we want to do now is even go beyond the region, right? Cross borders, go to our people in UG, our people in Tanzania. And eventually I would want the Ikojn brand to service women in Africa. So it is a brand made in Kenya, but dressing African women. And that's the plan. So for the next 5 years, that's all we're going to be working towards. Yeah, and I'm very, very excited to see, where this leads us.
I know you said earlier you wanted to produce for the mass, but I'm seeing another side which you can when you've just talked about going global, going Africa, dressing Africa. Will you have a couture pieces or a couture line where you can showcase on top fashion week, like SA Fashion Week, Lagos Fashion Week, and then penetrate those industries just as limited editions?
Yeah, I can see
for the
that.
upmarket guys.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, because right now with the brand, it's very ready to wear, but also very comfortable. It's casual dressing. We very rarely have pieces that you can wear like for galas or events. And that's something that we definitely see ourselves getting into more and more. My only reason why we haven't done it yet is because that kind of production is a lot of money. Okay, it's expensive. And something that is expensive to produce in turn becomes expensive to the buyer. Yeah. And at the moment, or even when we started the brand, I felt like the market in Kenya was not there yet in terms of fashion. The market, maybe now it's improved, but I know definitely the customers at that time did not see the need to spend hundreds of thousands unless it's on a wedding dress. Unless it's on a wedding dress, no one is spending hundreds of thousands on a dress or whatever. But now I feel like people are taking more and more note of what they're wearing, especially when they're attending events. We're seeing a lot more of celebrities, the celebrity culture, where people are really like, taking it higher with the fashion. So with that and with the expansion we're planning to have, especially because there are other countries that are much more into, the luxe dressing and the very expensive products. So yeah, definitely I can foresee us having, a luxury line or like a collection that's very custom, just to hit, those targets. I can definitely see that.
Cool. Now let's go to the fun sides.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Now on social media, I see you posting your man. How did you guys meet?
Wow, we just met through a friend of mine. Yeah, we had lunch together, and I think, it was a good lunch. And I think from there, the rest is history.
Hey, you're really limiting the details of this lunch.
There's no details. It was just a nice lunch. Yeah, that's how we met.
I saw during the launch of your shop.
Yeah,
he has kids. What will you say you've learned dating someone who already has kids?
I think what I'd say is some people, I think, describe love as one thing that you give everyone, right? And sometimes people expect the love that you give your kids to be the same love that you give maybe your spouse or your family or your parents. And I think what I've learned is like love comes in such different forms. And the love that a parent has for their children is like, it's so unexplainable. It's like, because I don't have kids of my own, and I thought I knew what love really was until I see how he loves his kids, and I'm like, wow, that's like deep love, And it's a totally different kind of love, but it's such a profound, sincere love, and it's just beautiful every day seeing it. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Amazing.
Will there be wedding bells?
Girl, we'll see. I mean, I can't tell you all the tea. I need to surprise you once in a while. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. If it comes, it'll be a nice surprise for everybody. But yeah.
Okay.
We're happy. That's all that matters.
I also saw your friend who's also popular.
Okay.
Joy Candy.
Okay.
Supporting you at the event. And I was like, wow. She was there on time. She was there helping. I was like, now that is true friendship.
That's my
That
girl.
is not social media friendship.
Yeah.
How did you guys end up becoming friends?
Myself and Joy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We've been friends for, I think, what? How old are we now? We've been friends for 15 years. We've been friends.
Yeah. That sounds like a childhood friendship.
Yeah, no, actually, because Joy she grew up in the States and she moved to Kenya. I remember when I was 18, 19, and she was the same age. And literally we met like the same week she moved to Kenya. We met that week through her cousin, who was my friend. And we just clicked and we just became friends since. And we've just been friends, ever since then. Yeah.
Wow, that's dope.
My girl, she's my girl. Yeah.
What would you say is your purpose in life?
I think my purpose in life is to inspire. To inspire greatness. And I know maybe to some I may not be the greatest. And by no means am I saying I am, but to get to where I am today, I've had to make really, really tough choices and like uncomfortable choices. No one wants to be, up at 4 a.m. in Gikomba looking for clothes because they're saving money for their brand. Just like very uncomfortable decisions I've made have got me here. And what keeps me going is knowing that, number one, I have a team that is so inspired by how I've shown them I want the brand to be. And we have a community out there that is so inspired not only by the brand, but also by myself as Cris, And for me, genuinely, anything I can do to aid in the growth of somebody who's looking to be in the same position, I'm willing to offer that kind of like, push and mentorship and just inspiration. I feel like right now, what do you call it? The young people right now, what we're lacking is inspiration. I feel like there's a sense of defeat almost. It's like people are feeling, okay, maybe it's not for me. Or maybe it's like, no, it's for you. You can actually get it done. Whatever it is that you have in your mind that you think truly and deeply that you want to explore and do, it can be done.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe we might not have all of the, you might not have the money or you might not have the means. And there's some people, yes, who have more than you, but try and start with what you have.
Yeah.
If I could start a fashion brand with 200 shillings going to Gikosh, it's possible. So I think for me, I'm here to inspire. Yeah. I want to inspire whoever I can inspire to be great. That's what I'm here for. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good cause.
Yeah.
Lastly, what do you pray to God for the most?
As much as, I'm doing something very risky, I don't like taking risks at all. I'm a bit like a scaredy cat. Like for me, I just look at it and I'm just like, like even opening the second store, freaked out. Like I've been freaked out the past 2 months. Constant state of fear, but then I still said yes. And I still said, you know what, let's do it. I still went to the store. I still got everything. I still decked it out as I'm scared. Like I'm living in a constant state of fear.
You're leaping in faith.
I'm telling you. So literally my prayer to God all the time is just like, bruh. Like sometimes I just, I'm like, God, Jesus, please. Like just guide me in this time of fear. Because for me, if it were up to me, I wouldn't do anything. Because I overthink, I overanalyze and I say, okay, what if this happens? What if we don't do this? What if? But sometimes I just like when I'm going to bed, I just try and calm down all those thoughts. And I just pray and I just say, God, you got this. Just lead me and just take the fear away from me, you know? And I think it works because we're still going. I haven't stopped. I remember there was one time I had 5 employees and I was looking at them and I was like, so now I'm supposed to pay all these guys every month. Oh my God, where will we get money? You know, and I think what happens is now I'm not scared about that anymore, about like having a team and paying them and things. But then the fear now is somewhere else. So what happens is the fear never goes away truly. It just like evolves into different things. Now my fear is, okay, are we even able to like stock all these different shops? Like, what if we can't even have products in them? Like, you know, and it's always a jumble. So my prayer always is just, okay, just take my head and my heart and lead me through this time of fear, because me, myself, I can't do it. Wow. And I think he literally he just guides me.
Wow.
And then we just go.
The courage to keep on going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This interview has been so inspiring. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And
thank
come
you
back
so
again.
much. I shall. Yeah. Thank you for coming. And also, even for the launch, thank you for attending. And for the next ones, I hope you will be there for all of the different ones we're going to have.
You have my contacts.
Hey.
Just WhatsApp, call, do whatever.
Yeah. No, but thank you. Thank you for having me. Any time I'm able to talk about the brand and talk about my journey, I think for me is always a win. So thanks for giving me the platform.
Karibu.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching the episode. Please subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one.